Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Progressive Discussions, Uncensored Saturday, Open Topic Talk. I'm your host, James P. Madonna, and I've been doing this since 2007. Welcome, everyone, from YouTube and Twitch, because that's where we are streaming live from. It happens to be, oh, look at this. It's the end of June 2025 already. How about that? It's how time flies when you're not having fun in the land of chaos. The insane asylum, the most chaotic year, the most embarrassing year for the United States in the history of the country, I think. I'm here with my magic wand, the official Donald Trump toilet brush. There he is. He never looked better. What do you think, people? He never looked better. He never looked better. All right. That's my prop for the show. And it will be my prop for the show for quite some time. I have a feeling. Let me have a sip of some fine craft beer. local craft beer from Brooklyn Brewery. Okay, here's the Brooklyn Brewery Lager. Ah, refreshing, crisp, well-balanced craft beer. Outstanding. Brooklyn Brewery. Now, let me sink my teeth into the first topic here. I just, when I save the material for the show, I title them according to the first thing that comes to mind about it. Now, this one I call A Very Smart Young Lady Indeed. All right? Hold on. Let me lower this a little bit. All right. Let me get this up on the screen. Okay. Just want to make sure it's up there. All right, there we go.
The wealthy always buy the media companies, and it is not for journalism or content or even views or even breaking news. It's about controlling the frame before you enter the game. Now, let's break this down. It is known as a setup. Every power player understands only one truth, which is controlling the media equals control the narrative. Controlling the narrative equals control the society. Control society equals control markets, elections, attention, and even enemies. This is not about breaking news. It is all about building reality. And billionaires know he who controls reality doesn't need to argue truth. Second is the agenda engineering. Media doesn't just reflect opinion, it manufactures it. Like what's trending, what's buried, and what's urgent. Billionaires buy media to install beliefs and not to tell you what to think, but to limit what you're allowed to think about. Third is the perception armor. Once you own the media, you own your reputation. Crisis, they reframe it. Criticism, they drown it. And failure, they spin it. Billionaires don't defend their image, they program it. Media isn't public relation, or what we call PR. It's a psychological armor. Fourth is the enemy selection. Want to destroy a competitor? Make them the villain. That's it. Negative press, leaked scandals, viral hit pieces. For example, terrorist narrative. Everyone buys that. When you own the megaphone, you decide who the mob attacks. Fifth is the narrative monopoly. Most people fight for market share. The rich fight for the mind share. A billionaire doesn't just want attention. They want to own the narrative, like sustainability, freedom, and innovation, while investing in oil, funding the controlled tech, and while gatekeeping access. Sixth would be the soft power, hard outcomes. When media loves you, laws bend, investors relax, courts hesitates, and talent flux. Billionaires doesn't need to lobby when they own the lens. Seventh will be the exit cover. Every elite has secrets. The media they own covers them entirely. Allegations don't surface, stories get blurred, control the spotlight, and you choose what stays in the dark. Then comes the eighth, the closing truth. Media is not a side investment. It is the control room of capitalism. You thought they bought it for profits? No. They bought it for power, because real wealth doesn't scream, it broadcasts, casting spells. Broadcasting in a broad audience, which is the masses. Remember, the Matrix is always one step ahead, and so are you. Assalamu alaikum.
Very smart. Very good video. And this tells you, this shows you how deceptive and wicked capitalism is. When she mentions the billionaires, she might as well just say the oligarch, the top 1%. When you're talking about multi-billionaires. Excuse me. Just how wicked our government is. That's off the top of my head. I just give them titles. Okay. This might be. All right.
Without telling them. No warning, no. They infected a city without telling them. No warning, no consent, just a classified test on unsuspecting civilian. In 1955, the U.S. Army sprayed bacteria over the city of Savannah, Georgia, on purpose. The operation was part of Project 112, a Cold War-era biowarfare testing program. The Army released the cloud of bacteria from ships off the coast, believing it could simulate anthrax. Over the next week, the bacteria drifted into Savannah. Thousands of residents breathed it in. Children, elderly, pregnant women, none of them were told. The Army watched from a distance, collecting data on how far the bacteria spread. They called it an experiment in urban vulnerability. Internal documents showed that they knew the bacteria could cause infections in people with weak immune systems, yet called it harmless. It led to spikes in respiratory infections, a noticeable uptick in coughing, fatigue, and unexplained illnesses, especially among children and seniors. The long-term cancer implications remain unstudied because they're impossible to track. And it wasn't just Savannah. Similar tests happened in Minneapolis, St. Louis, San Francisco, New York. When the information came to light decades later, the government gave no apology, they offered no compensation. Most Americans still don't know it happened.
Yeah. You see how evil our system is? Before I go on to the next. Okay. Plane hitting the Pentagon? Question mark. That's the next one. But I just want to say, perception means nothing to me. Only proven fact, reality. Not someone's perception of what reality is. Through propaganda, fake news, whatever you want to call it, brainwashing. This is a frosty ice cold glass of Brooklyn Brewery lager beer. This is reality. This is not perception. When I drink the refreshing flavor, the well-balanced flavor, this is what my taste buds pick up as the reality of the beer. It is not my perception. So perception doesn't mean a damn thing to me unless you can prove it. You know, a lot of people will tell you their perception is reality. You know, I think Rudy Giuliani was when he first started losing his mind before Donald Trump threw him under the bus. was saying something similar to that about lies, about fake news, and the perception of such fake news or propaganda. Perception is bullshit. Okay. This has to do with something that got swept under the carpet during 9/11. All right. Got swept under the carpet. Here he is, the one and only, and I repeat, the one and only Ed Krasenstein. Brother from another mother, like no other, and when you speak, you don't sound like Scatman Crother. He's a fellow commandante, comrade, progressive, a progressive warrior. Check out his Twitter X channel. They call it a profile, but I call it a channel. Check it out. And check out his podcasts over on Twitter X also, people. You hear me? Don't forget this man. Make sure you get his spelling right so you can follow him. All right? You jabronis out there? Now, what the hell was I doing? Ah, yes. Just bringing up this little tidbit from the past.
21 fly a 60-ton, 125-foot wide, 44-foot tall plane through this obstacle course.
The aircraft, before striking the Pentagon, reportedly executed a 270-degree downward spiral, and yet Hani Hanjour was known as a terrible pilot who could not safely fly even a small plane.
No seats, no luggage, no bodies. Nothing but bricks and limestone.
The official explanation is that the intense heat from the jet fuel vaporized the entire plane. Flight 77 had two Rolls-Royce engines made of steel and titanium alloy and weighs 6 tons each. It is scientifically impossible that 12 tons of steel and titanium was vaporized by jet fuel.
We're also told that the bodies were able to be identified either by their fingerprints or by the DNA. So what kind of fire can vaporize aluminum and tempered steel and yet leave human bodies intact?
From my close-up inspection, there's no evidence of a plane having crashed anywhere near the Pentagon. And as I said, the only pieces left that you can see are small enough that you could pick up in your hand.
Shortly after the strike, government agents picked up debris and carried it off. The entire lawn was covered with dirt and gravel, so that any remaining forensic evidence was literally covered up. The videos from security cameras, which would show what really hit the Pentagon, were immediately confiscated by agents of the FBI, and the Department of Justice has to this day refused to release them. If these videos would prove that the Pentagon was really hit by a 757, most of us would assume the government would release them.
Not only that, I remember at that time the media didn't even cover the details of the plane hitting the Pentagon. It was just like they just mentioned it once, you know, like a headline breaking news report, you know, like a blurb, and that was it. There was no coverage, media coverage, journalists or reporters or cameras. I just don't remember it. Just like they deny that the Muslim community in Paterson, New Jersey, was not jumping up and down for joy when the Twin Towers went down, but I witnessed it. I saw the scene. It must have been Main Street in Paterson, where the Islamic community is, a very large one. I seen them jumping up and down for joy, cheering when the Twin Towers went down. And they didn't show much of it. They just showed it for maybe not even 30 seconds, but I distinctly remember seeing it, and they did announce where it was. But then after that, it was swept under the carpet. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Oh God. This is a joke. Now Ed Krasenstein probably, he might have seen this, but this has to do with the fake, phony, fraud, counterfeit Christian, right-wing Republicans that think they have a bat phone to God, and they would not know the God of the Bible if it bit them on the tip of their noses. And here they are praying. Okay, it says here a group with Trump's faith office praying and speaking in tongues. Oh my God. Speaking in tongues at the White House. To me, it's nothing but gibberish and possibly demonic psychobabble. But this is what we have here. All right. I'll be right with you, Ed. Brother from another mother like no other. He's a fellow comrade. He's a fellow commandante. Ed says, was 9/11 an inside job to help the military-industrial complex and to get Bush a second term? Well, I think that G.W. Bush's real boss, Dick Cheney, and Halliburton and the military-industrial complex were very pleased if this was an inside job, which Jesse Ventura's investigative team felt very strongly that it was. Of course, another episode of conspiracy theory on True TV removed from the show, from the network, and removed from Jesse Ventura's YouTube channel. Okay? Like they all were. Yes, I agree with you. All right. Ed Krasenstein says, Building 7 collapsed for no reason. There were explosives in the building and in the Twin Towers. Yeah, at the base, right? The basement. Not where the planes hit. No way a plane takes out those buildings. You're right. You realize what high temperature is required to melt the steel beams, or whatever they call them. I'm not an expert at in building architecture. I don't know the terminology or civil engineering, but the heat from those planes, from that jet fuel, was not enough to bring down those skyscrapers. Ed Krasenstein said, will tonight's show be solely focused on 9/11? No, absolutely not. Do you agree that J6 was worse than 9/11? Well, it was very different. They were both very shocking. They were both, I think, forms of terrorism. One being J6 being domestic terrorism. That, in my opinion, was planned by the bloated orange demon. Just like the fake Party City blood on the ear, if you know what I mean. The ketchup on the ear, wink, wink, nod, nod. All right, all staged with collateral damage of taking out an innocent young individual, civilian. All right. I'd say they were pretty even. But I'm more shocked. As far as my gut feeling goes, it was a different reaction. I couldn't. I mean, it was more believable that Saudi terrorists, because they were Saudis, they weren't Afghanistani, they were not Iraqi, even though Netanyahu kept on nagging the United States to attack Iraq, insisting that 9/11 was connected to Iraq, and it wasn't, and they proved it wasn't, and none of them were Afghanistani, and Osama bin Laden was hiding out in Pakistan. They were hiding him the whole time. So that war might have been over the guarding of poppy fields. Ah, poppies. What do you think? Poppies? Let me see. Opium? Opium? Heroin? All right. U.S. military guarding poppy fields. There's a lot of shit going on, Mr. Krasenstein. There's a lot of shit going on. All right. This gentleman is from Twitch. Embrace what? Embrace primalism. Have you seen Amon Hillman? No, I haven't. I do not know him. You know, bin Laden was paid by the CIA to go after Russia. Yeah, he was trained. He was trained by the CIA. Then again, Netanyahu went to school, was educated in the United States, and he was buddy, he's probably still is, with Jared Kushner. Yes, I was aware of that. But, the media swept everything under the carpet, kept Americans in the dark, just kept feeding the mainstream propaganda and spinning the truth, as well as exaggerated and fake news. Okay. How come they never talk about the assassination of Trump anymore, or the shooting in Las Vegas? Yeah, you're right. How quickly the media got off that subject, and how quickly Donald Trump also got off the subject and did not bother to investigate who was behind that so-called assassination. If it was real, he would have been screaming like a banshee, trying to find out everyone that was behind it. But no, it got really quiet. It got really quiet. I think it was done for sympathy votes. And Las Vegas too. The media covered it for a certain amount of time, and then it was gone. How about Pearl Harbor? Was that an inside job and that FDR ignored intelligence that could have stopped the attack? Yes, I did. I don't know how true the details were, but Chinese government intelligence at the time warned FDR not to trust the Japanese at that time. Was it the Emperor Hirohito or the wicked General Tojo, or the Japanese when they visited Washington? I think that's when they gifted the president some sakura, cherry blossom trees or something. Yeah, but he ignored it. He ignored the warnings. And also, the stupid ass G.W. Bush received warnings, from what I understand, before 9/11 took place, and he ignored that also. What are your thoughts about having prisoners that have never been convicted at Guantanamo Bay? Where is due process? Yeah, isn't due process part of our U.S. Constitution? Like peaceful protesters are supposed to be protected by the First Amendment? Yeah. Where is the due process? And why does the self-proclaimed emperor of the universe, Donald Trump, how come he's not being challenged by anyone in Congress or the Senate as he breaks constitutional law? I think those Republicans that have been quiet this whole time, I think they're accomplices to constitutional law being broken. That's what I think. Funny how Iran and Trump split up, and then Iran is all of a sudden in the news. People have short-term memories. That's right. The love affair ended, and Trump is upset even with Vladimir Putin, and he was yelling at Netanyahu also, forget about all of his friends. I mean, he demands loyalty, but he gives none, and he throws his friends under the bus, naturally, like he did to Giuliani. But yes, you're right. You're right. The media got off this subject fast. How was the shooter able to get all those guns and ammunition into Las Vegas hotel room without anyone noticing? Has to be an inside job. Yeah, how do you get that many I guess assault firearms and ammunition into a hotel room without being detected? These are very good observations, Ed Krasenstein, but that's why you're Ed Krasenstein. And other people are not. Don't think there are Iranian sleeper cells in the United States. Oh, yeah. You know, I was watching last night this episode of The Unexplained with William Shatner on the History Channel, and they were talking about double agents, and they showed a couple famous double agents, and they feel that there are double agents to this day in the CIA working for Russia. There are, and maybe Chinese double agents. Okay, I gotta move on. Are you a fan of the new candidate for mayor of New York City? Oh, Mandolini, whatever the hell his name is. I don't know enough about him. I haven't really been following him. I mean, I don't know. Is he Is he Indian? Is he Muslim? I, I don't. I know he's 33 years old. I mean, it's great that he's young. It's great that he is supposedly progressive, but I have a problem. Unfortunately, I have a problem with progressives and liberals running major cities in the United States because of the nature of the people that live in the inner cities, the inner city urban folk. I just I think that the progressives or liberals are too soft on crime. I believe that the big cities with the thugs that live in the big cities uh, must be ruled with an iron fist because that's the only way that that they would learn that how they're living it, is criminal or borderline criminal and uncivilized. So I mean, just look at all the cities where they had riots and they looted and they set things on fire and they turned over police cars and the riot in Baltimore, then the high crime rate of Chicago, and so on and so forth. Um, Possibly way back in the day with Rodney King in Los Angeles, the rioting then, uh, the rioting in what the hell was that? Was that Portland, Oregon, or Seattle, Washington? Anyway, were there Democrat mayors of these cities? I mean, I'm very left wing, but there's something about putting a progressive or a liberal in charge of a big city. You know, they're just way too soft on crime. So what I think about New York City is I think that the best thing for New York is, let's say, I mean, I imagine there's going to be an election for mayor, maybe this November, because they didn't mention anything about Republican candidates. I know Curtis Sliwa of the Guardian Angels is the Republican candidate. So I think Curtis Sliwa would be the best choice to run the cesspool known as New York City. Wolf Blitzer. He's too pro-Israel. All he talks about is Israel, 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 Israel. First I was really pissed off at all of them for throwing Chris Cuomo under the bus when he got fired. All right. Um, and Then I listened to Chris Cuomo lately on News Nation, and he turned into a centrist. He turned and he moved to the right, not to the right of center, but he's right. He's right in the middle. He's not as progressive as he was, and well, maybe his brother was like that too. Um, I know Joe Biden wasn't a progressive. Joe Biden said as soon as he started campaigning for president, he says, "I'm a capitalist. I want everyone to know I'm a capitalist." So as soon as he said that, I knew where he was coming from. Like Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was against forgiving, expunging, whatever you want to call it, the student loans. She didn't want to do that. She's a corporatist. Biden was a corporatist. And so are the Cuomos. I remember when their father, the late, great Mario Cuomo, had a campaign when he was running against Ed Koch at that time. Ed Koch was running for governor after he was mayor for 1,000 years. And his campaign slogan was, "Vote for Cuomo, not the homo." Pretty funny. So, I'm sorry I digress, but I'm not a fan of Wolf Blitzer. Why? Do you know him personally? Did Anthony Bourdain kill himself? Or was it a hit job because he had dirt on the Clintons? Jenna Jameson posted on her Twitter this conspiracy theory. Yeah, his suicide reminded me a lot of David Carradine's similar suicide and Robin Williams' suicide. I think, didn't they all hang themselves? Interesting. And what about Joan Rivers dying under anesthesia that she's been under so many times? Right after she made that comment insisting that Michelle Obama is a transgender, and she insisted that to the reporters. Yes, I agree. And Jim Acosta, I like Jim Acosta. I don't think he's with CNN anymore. He used to really get under Trump's skin, Jim Acosta. You know, it's very easy to get under Trump's skin anyway. You just disagree with him in public, and it sets him off. Okay, where was I? Back to the holy rollers, back to the fake, phony, fraud, counterfeit Christian Republicans praying and speaking in tongues. Are you ready for a good laugh, Mr. Ed Krasenstein? Well, I know I am.
We just thank you right now, Lord, from the east, the west, the north, and the south. You will shake America with your power and your glory. We cancel every assignment of the enemy. This nation was birthed to be one nation under God, and we are standing on the soil of the White House, and we are declaring your word. Every place that our foot will trod, you will give it to us, and we are taking the land. We thank you, oh Lord. You have brought us to the kingdom for a time such as this, and this is the time. And so we declare right now, from the capital of our nation, that America will come back to God. We will come back to God. Nothing will stop this nation. And we speak right now by the authority of heaven. You told us to bring heaven to earth. Heaven is being released through your people right now. We just thank you.
Oh my, this is pure, you know, this is bona fide, natural, pure comedy, but it's not a Saturday Night Live shtick. This is real. Now, isn't that the guy that looked like Elmer Fudd? Isn't that the head of ICE that was shaking his head like he was praying, holding the phone? Hold on, let me see. Hold on.
Right now, Lord, from the one nation, and we are taking the you, oh Lord, brought us to the time such as this, and this is the time. And so we declare right now, from the capital of our nation, that America will come back to.
I don't know, Ed, is that him? I could be wrong, or I could be right. The guy that's in charge of ICE, the fascist thugs, you know, the guy that looks like Elmer Fudd.
God. We will come back to God.
Oh, I can't deal with it, man. That is pathetic. That is pathetic. Oh my God. Unbelievable. Oh, this one's about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Lauren Boebert recently said that she hates Congress the way it is right now. She says it sucks. It sucks in here. Well, all I know is that Lauren Boebert, when she's in a movie theater, she definitely sucks there, right? I'm not familiar with him, sir. I can't make a comment. I'm not. I haven't really watched mainstream media in a very long time because they just won't give real progressives face time. I mean, except for Bernie Sanders. I mean, they'll invite Bernie Sanders, thankfully, and they'll give him lots of FaceTime now, but before they really didn't. Billy Graham was only in it for the money. You mean the father? Or Franklin? Billy and Franklin, right? Franklin is the son. Yeah, Billy Graham was like, I don't know, you might be too young to remember. When I was a kid, there was a TV evangelist by the name of Reverend Ike. And he used to have a blessing plan where the more money you tithe to him, the more God will bless you. And he actually had like a contract, a blessing plan. And what he used to do was he used to send a little bright red piece of cloth, like a swatch of cloth, with the blessing plan application. And he told people to fill out the blessing plan and pledge your money, to tithe your money, plant the seed for the Lord. But that's not what the Bible really says about tithing, about planting the seed and tithing. I think it was mentioned in the Old Testament. But it doesn't mean to give a pastor or an evangelist the money. So he says, after you send in your tithe and fill out the blessing plan, to send back, to return the prayer cloth to him, of course. So then he could take the same prayer cloth and send it to somebody else, and he doesn't have to keep spending money on prayer cloths. That was one guy. There was another evangelist on one of the Spanish stations. I don't know if it was Telemundo or what, or Univision. He had an aquarium, like a 10-gallon aquarium, and he had those index cards that people mailed in with their problems, petitions, whatever, their problems, their whatever dilemma they had in their life. They would write it down on the index cards, and he would have the index cards in the aquarium claiming that it was special holy water that those cards were in. Probably came from his toilet tank, but I just thought it was pretty amusing. Yeah, both of the Grahams. I don't like any prosperity preacher. I hate Joel Osteen. I despise Joel Osteen. What a fake, phony, fraud, saccharine sweet smile he has. After the hurricane, what hurricane was that again? One of the big ones that hit the Gulf Coast. He refused to open up his cathedral, his stadium, where he gave his where he did his TV evangelizing. He refused to open it up to provide shelter for homeless victims of the hurricane. And then, of course, under pressure, he finally decided to do it. Also, in one of Joel Osteen's buildings, I don't know if it was a chapel or some phony chapel, they had to do plumbing work in the men's room, and they had to tear down a part of the wall. And what did they find? They found a few $100,000 in cash behind the wall. And Joel Osteen says, "Oh, I have no idea how that got there. I have nothing to do with it." But that's not the end of it. They're the funniest evangelists. You could look it up on YouTube. The Reverend Peter Popoff. He has like this black shoe polish, greasy hair, slick back. His wife is blonde, like a lot of the evangelists. She's very waspy looking. And Peter Popoff, he pushes the miracle spring water that people will receive if they send a tithe, and he has the during his congregation or his sermon, he has people. Of course, they're actors and actresses. They're limping like a gimp with crutches, and he puts his hands on their head and they pass out, and then they get up and they start dancing. Hallelujah, I'm cured, I'm healed. And they're jumping up and down, doing a moonwalk and boogieing down the aisle, and they throw their crutches away. It's so funny. Ed, you gotta look up Peter Popoff on YouTube. I mean, it's oh yeah, it's unbelievable. Funnier than any sitcom I ever watched. Oh, of course I do. I can't stand him. See, whatever he wants to call himself, prosperity preacher, regular preacher, pastor Olsey. You're not supposed to take the donations from the parishioners and spend it on yourself and your wife, and buy a private jet and a mansion and stretch limos and expensive cars like that other lunatic. What the hell is his name again? There's a real crazy guy that does the same thing. Oh, and he refuses. The reporter asked him, "Why do you need more than one private jet as a pastor, as a man of God, supposedly? Why do you need more than one private jet?" He says, "Oh, I refuse to go on a commercial airline with other people because there are too many demons on a regular commercial airline. There's too many demons on there." Have you ever exposed Joel Osteen for the fake fraud he is? Well, I just did. Yeah, I talked about him in the past many times. But you know what? Imbeciles keep sending him money because evidently his TV show is still going, right? That is so incredible. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Is this it? No, it's not it. Is this it? No, not yet. Well, we got a good laugh, but it's sad though that suckers, there's a sucker born every minute. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, she's looking good lately. I don't know if she's got a facelift or she's using a facial moisturizer, or she's getting Botox in her lips. I don't know. Ed. Let's take a look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Maybe she needs a good roll in a hay with someone that's not, a little wimp like her husband. Her and Bolbert. Would you do Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Bolbert at the same time in a menage a trois? Would you do that? Menage a twang? Well, I don't know. She's got spunk, you know? She's starting to sound a little, she's starting to gravitate more towards the center. What do you think? She's she's on the right of center right now? Or is she just drifting more to the center? Oh, this is a little red pill relationship here. Why are men walking away? Ooh, why are they walking away? I'll tell you why they're walking away, but that's a whole nother talk show. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, let me see here. Have you ever? Yeah, okay, I already showed that. Joel Osteen has many Ferraris. That too? I have an idea for Joel Osteen. Being that he's a pastor and a man of God, why doesn't he help the poor? Like Jesus mentioned in the New Testament. All those evangelicals, they love to mention Jesus all the time. There you go. If he wants to be a real Christian, help the poor. Help the poor. The disabled, the homeless. Unbelievable. It just totally boggles my mind. Well, I guess if a narcissist is a sociopath, they don't feel remorse for what they do. So that probably explains it. Hey, what's going on? Hold on. I'll be right back.
A third of men, 33%, a little over a third, of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. So I've got a question for the men. So my comments are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done.
I'm seeing more and more of these videos, and honestly, it makes me sad because guys have told women why. We've made it very clear why we're walking away. And we're walking away in droves, and it's only going to get worse because you're not hearing why we're walking away. It's very simple. Don't read between the lines. Hear these words. There is absolutely no benefit anymore to being in a relationship with a woman for a man. None. Zero. Zilch. Especially when you consider the risk compared to any potential reward. Roughly 55% of marriages end in divorce, and the guy loses everything. Add into it all the relationships where they weren't married, and the guy lost access to his kids and had to pay mountains of child support, and so on. When you really look at it, there's less than a 1 in 4 chance of having a successful relationship. Would you risk?
He's right. He's right. It is a big risk. I know two people that got dragged into court with their miserable ex-wives for child support, and the judge, he pretty much crucifies the men, I mean, no one child really needs that much money and then some, and now they expect the father to pay for all kinds of luxuries, like if the kid wants to take up a musical instrument or take singing classes or become an artist and or whatever, or the kid what do you call and they're forcing the fathers to pay college tuition. The judge is forcing them to pay for a community college or a state college. Hey, when I grew up, that was optional. College was optional. Go to fucking technical school or something. Learn a trade, instead of going into debt that you'll never be able to pay back. Oh, gosh. Our unfair tax system. Ooh, it was removed about our unfair tax system, which did mention the rich not paying their fair share in taxes, thanks to people like Ronald Reagan sending them on a permanent tax vacation, but it was removed. Here's some more red pill talk about dating and relationships. Hey. You're right about organized religion. Jesse Ventura says organized religion is for weak-minded people. Organized religion is a scam to separate a sucker from his money. Yes, to get people to part with their money. That's what it is. That's what it is. Unlike the wicked Elon Musk, who was saying that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme, this is a scamming scheme. And let me tell you, once organized religion is allowed to stick their Pinocchio nose in the secular world and influence the making of laws or the elimination of laws, they should start paying taxes. If they want to get involved in politics, they should start paying taxes according to the massive amounts of money they're collecting. Milau TV from Twitch. Best viewers on Streambo. You're always saying that. There's a lot of, I know there's a lot of gamers on Twitch, and I'm not one of them. Student loans are another scam, almost as much of a scam as religion. My sister was telling me anybody who gets a student loan to go to a well-known, reputable private university is a fool. These kids are not going to be able to pay it back. The job market and the economy won't allow them to. Especially companies want 5 years or more experience. So they want the education, they want the diploma, or the degree, and then they want 5 years plus experience. Well, how do you get experience without the job? And how do you get the job without experience? Think about it, folks. Incredible, isn't it? How about the scandals that rocket the NRA? Have you exposed that? You know what? Update me on that. The NRA, aren't they the ones that wanted just about anybody to walk into a department store and buy any firearms that they wanted to buy, you know, without doing a real extensive background check? Aren't they the ones that wanted that? Yeah? Yep. They're tax cheats, tax evaders. They're whores. Well, actually, with a whore, you get something in return. Most baristas have master's degrees and make coffee for minimum wage. Go figure. Wait a minute. Now, from what I understand, a social worker majoring in psychology, right, requires a master's degree. And also, from what I understand, let me get my little puppet. From what I understand, a registered dietitian, the people that slap together that garbage hospital food, also require a master's degree. But you're telling me that a barista that makes coffee and gets minimum wage is required to have a master's degree? So the high cost of tuition to get a master's degree, which happens to be 6 years of college, right? 2 years as an associate, 4 years as a bachelor's degree, 6 years of tuition to get the chicken feed chump change that they pay baristas. You know what? This is a mad, mad, mad world. It really is. It really is. It's insane. Employers are insane. The system is insane. You know, I'm glad you brought this up. I just want everybody to see just how crazy this is. Look up the former NRA head, Wayne. Oh yeah, I recognize it. Wayne LaPierre, Pepe Le Pew. Let me just call him Pepe Le Pew. He was found guilty of corruption. How come the media hasn't covered that? Do you think it's because the oligarch owns and controls the media? And the oligarch is right wing? Do you think it is because the oligarch assigns their paychecks and forces them to withhold information and to cover certain stories and not cover other stories? Interesting. Like they sure covered Democrat Senator Robert Menendez going to prison. Democrat Senator Robert Menendez. They were all over him. All right. The media they were not shy about covering him. Ed Krasenstein says no. They aren't required to have a master's degree to make coffee. It's that their degrees are useless. So the only jobs they can get is to work at Starbucks. Because that's how bad the economy and the job market really is. Right? That's what you're saying. It's incredible. It's incredible. I should brass monkey, that funky monkey. Brass monkey, funky, that funky monkey. Remember that song, the Beastie Boys? I never knew what a brass monkey was. I heard it was a drink. Brass monkey, funky, that funky monkey.
Why would I help a man get on his feet if there are men who are already standing up?
Oh, darling, I got some bad news for you. You see, as one of those men who's gotten on his feet, probably has more money in the bank than you'll make in 3 lifetimes, has been very successful. The question you really need to be asking is not why would you help a man get on his feet, but why would a man who's on his feet want anything to do with you? Because what are you bringing to the table? Oh, I know. You're going to say this. Well, I hate to break it to you, but this ain't worth what you think it is. There's plenty of this to be found elsewhere. The fact of the matter is, what you're showing to men who are on their feet is that you're nothing more than someone who's looking for a paycheck. You're looking for someone to take care of you. You're looking for someone to bear the burden for your lifestyle you think you deserve, so that you don't have to put any effort into acquiring it. The reality is, this is the mindset of most of today's modern women. The ones who think that they deserve it all while putting absolutely no effort in whatsoever. They think that they are all that, when in reality, they're...
Ugh. I don't know why they've been cutting this man off. They're not all that. But I always say is all these nitpicky, demanding, delusional, narcissistic, selfish, miserable women, why don't they remove all of their cosmetics? Take it all off. Take all their cosmetics, remove it. Get up on a scale and then tell the world exactly what you bring to the table for a high quality, high sexual market value man. Then tell everyone what you bring to the table. Brass monkey, that funky monkey, brass monkey. Oh, okay, that's not it. I'm sorry. I made a boo-boo. The man is right on target. A little more red, a little more red pill, a little more red. What? Oh, get lost. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. See, they're trying to censor the real hard-hitting truth on TikTok. It's crazy. Let's see. You know what I should do? I should play a little Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass Spanish Flea. What do you think? On my metallic kazoo. Now, this might be a pastor, but this guy hits the nail right on the head. This is not red pill relationship. This guy hits the nail right on the head. Hold on. Ed Krasenstein said Charlton Heston was once head of the NRA and was famous for saying, "From my cold, dead hands." Was Heston a good guy? Probably not. You know what you know what that probably meant most likely? That's just Second Amendment talk. I know a guy from Tennessee that says that all Americans must be armed to the hilt because of the possibility of a rogue, corrupt government, or a government turned fascist, which has happened almost, pretty close to it. Now, I understand the Second Amendment people in regards to that, but that was just too dramatic. Charlton Heston was just being a Hollywood actor. That was too melodramatic for him to say that in that manner. My grandmother used to look up to these people, and I was told Charlton Heston was a good boy. He didn't go to any wild, perverted Hollywood parties. After he did a movie, he went home to his family, which quite possibly happened with a lot of these older generation legends, him and Charles Bronson, and, Clint Eastwood, John Wayne. I mean, it's very possible that they were honorable, they had integrity. But as far as that goes, it's ridiculous. My cold dead hands. Do you pay? Hell no. Starbucks, I call it Charbucks. It's cheap beans that are overly roasted and burnt. What I do is I have a stainless steel Vietnamese drip coffee gadget, Vietnamese style coffee. I get organic dark roast Peruvian Chancho Mayo coffee, right? I also recommend Sumatra, but make sure it's organic and dark roast. And let me tell you, I can tell the difference. The quality of good organic coffee, I can tell the difference. I don't need to get ripped off at Starbucks. My cold dead hands, will you pry my rifle from me? Over my cold dead hands. All right, here we go. Let me see. Can I do full screen? No, they won't let me. They won't let me.
I'm ashamed of the people who call themselves American.
Oh, Jumbalonies.
I'm ashamed of the people who call themselves Americans who drive around with a damn silly ass flag on their car and not even realize that's not an American flag. All you gotta do is do your homework. You'll find out that is a United States flag. And it's not even an original United States flag, because an original United States flag has the stripes going vertical, not horizontal. But who the hell knows that? Who cares? I mean, we just put a flag on your car and drive around like a fool. It is a disgrace. We hear that God's name is Yahweh. Let me tell you something about Yahweh. I mean, I've spent 42 years looking at this stuff. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm amazed at how many people don't even begin to know what these words mean. Yahweh is not the name of God. Yahweh in Hebrew is an expressive term. It's expressing something. It's describing something. It's not a formal name.
I believe it. People just don't do their research. Very misinformed and uneducated. How many people in America bother to look up the political definitions on Webster's dictionary and actually read the difference between the communism and socialism and capitalism and this, that, and the other thing? How many people actually do that? Instead, they lump communism with socialism, with all kinds of shit. there is a difference in the definitions. Oh, God. The stay-at-home mom wants to be paid a salary. Oh, wait till you hear this. Hey, her chocha is not worth it. It's not that valuable. I love chuchi. The chocha is just not that valuable. Dianetics. That's Scientology, right? Here we go. What are your thoughts on Scientology? Yeah, I think it's a cult. Was L. Ron Hubbard a genius or a snake oil salesman? I know one thing's for sure. You know, the Ghost Adventures team, they did a lockdown at L. Ron Hubbard's mansion in Southern California. And there's demonic presence there because L. Ron Hubbard, just like Aleister Crowley of England, dabbled in the black arts. I think Scientology and all those crackpot, dumbass, lunatic Hollywood celebrities that follow it, I believe it's a cult. Whether or not it's snake oil, it might be much darker than and deeper. You know, like I watched that documentary with William Shatner narrating it, The Unexplained. They were talking about secret societies and how some secret societies like Skull and Bones, they're not allowed to admit they belong to Skull and Bones, let alone what goes on behind closed doors. I know the Bushes were Skull and Bones, and the founding fathers definitely belonged to secret societies, either the Freemasons, Skull and Bones, or both. Either or, rather. Mormons are also a cultist group. Yes, and I'll tell you what. They're also a cultist group of people that can't be trusted. All those Seventh-day Adventists and Latter-day Saints, they call themselves, can all walk off a short period. You know what? Who is his name? The guy who started the Mormon religion was it John Smith? Was his name John Smith? And it was in New York State, and he insisted that an angel by the name of Moroni gave him all this knowledge, just like Muhammad got knowledge from the archangel Gabriel, but the Muslims call him Jabril. But in this case, let's just stick with the Mormons. So John Smith got all this information from the angel Moroni. I call him Boney Moroni, like the song. Do the mashed potato, do the alligator, Boney Moroni, dun, dun, dun. Anyway, I digress. And expected everybody to believe that this angel Moroni really appeared before him. But no one else has seen it but him. Interesting. And that's how it started. Old Boney Moroni appeared to this John Smith. Mitt Romney is a Mormon. He has like 8 kids and is also a big scam. Didn't Mel Gibson have like a dump truck load of kids also? I think Mel Gibson had 7 or 8 kids. He's Catholic. Yeah, be fruitful and multiply. first of all, even if you're rich and you can afford to support that many kids, you really want 8 screaming, coddled, spoiled little monsters running around the house, making all that racket? You really want that? Not me. It's only me. It's only me. And my aquarium, and my pet scorpion, and my little baby vinegaroon scorpion, and all my cacti and succulents and air plants. I come and go as I please. I don't have to worry about any of that. Yeah, so anyway, that's how the Mormons started. Yes, I believe it's a cult. I'm sure they would get offended. Now the hardcore Mormons are allowed to have multiple wives, right? Now, my sister used to be married to a Moroccan guy. He was Muslim from Morocco. I think he was from Marrakesh or something. He said that in their religion, they could have multiple wives, but only so many. I mean, it's not like you can have an unlimited harem of women, but you can have a bunch of them. I don't know how they keep from fighting with each other. I don't know how you make appointments with, all right, I'm going to bang the redhead tonight, and then the next day it'll be you, the blonde, and the next day it'll be Jeannie with the light brown hair, and then the gothic wife with the black hair. How do you do it? I mean, you would have to make appointments with them, like if you're a specialist, a doctor, you know, Boney Maroney. Never trust anyone that says they go to church every week. They have been brainwashed. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something, Ed. In a way, this is like group therapy, too, you know. I live next to a very large Catholic church that was built in 1906. So it's a historic landmark. And anytime I enter the church, whether it be Catholic church, whether it be non-denomination, there were a lot more dysfunctional people with a lot of hang-ups, a lot of personal issues, including assholes, in the church than there were outside the church. I get along with people much better outside the church. So yes, there are church people, and I think they're sanctimonious, they're self-righteous, they think they have a bat phone, or this will be a Trump phone. They think they have a bat phone to God. They think, but they don't. I never used this. Do you think I would put a toilet brush that I've used up against my face? No. It's brand new. This is strictly for comedy purposes. All right, where was I? Boney Maroney. So that's my take on church people. She does a mashed potato to the alligator. Na, 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 na.
Oh, you gotta love how today's modern women love to make their little flex videos, but don't really think it through when they do.
If you are a stay-at-home mom, you should be receiving a salary from your husband. If you are a stay-at-home mom, otherwise known as a non-compensated working mom, and you are married to a man, your husband, the compensated partner, should be paying for the uncompensated labor. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of pissed off men in the comments, but try to replace you. Try to replace a stay-at-home mom.
You know what? I agree. In fact, I wholeheartedly agree. This needs to happen. She should be paid a salary. But, and you just knew there'd be a but, didn't you? That means that there's going to have to be some other changes as well. Because since we're now paying her, she's no longer a wife, no longer a stay-at-home mom. No, now she's an employee, and thus should be treated as and have the same expectations as an employee. Starting with now, she's going to have to start paying the going rate for rent. No more free ride. No more free roof over your head, darling. No, you're going to have to pay your own way. Which also means that from now on, you're going to have to buy all your own things like clothing or really anything else that you need. Date nights? Well, now you're going to be paying your own way for those too, because that's what employees do. You're also going to need to have to pay 3/4 of the utility bills since you're the one that's home all the time and obviously uses them more. Not to mention you're going to have to compensate us in return at the going rate for things like landscaping, painting, or any of the other things that you have us do off your honey-do list. And of course, any housework we do will also be charged back to you as well. How's it sound so far? You're also going to have to compensate us at the going rate for a therapist whenever you want to talk to us, and we have to listen to your whining, crying, sniveling, and of course, never-ending wallowing in full victim mode. Because it's so hard. Spoiler alert, I was a stay-at-home for a while raising 6 kids. It was the happiest and easiest time of my life. So spare me on the how hard it is. Anyway, I say we give them exactly what they want. An hourly wage commensurate to their abilities, which would pretty much be minimum wage. Sorry, ladies, but piling a bunch of dishes in the dishwasher and then pushing a button, that ain't rocket science. You don't need a college degree for that. Taking chicken nuggies out of the freezer and putting them in the air fryer ain't hard labor. So you should be paid at the level commensurate to the work, which, as I said, is pretty much minimum wage. Oh, by the way, you're also going to have to be subject to performance reviews. And since we're paying you and it's at-will employment, we can also fire you at any time and order you to leave the premises with no further obligations from us. Oh, and like many employers these days, we're going to be installing cameras to verify that the work is getting done in an acceptable manner and on our schedule, not yours. Those hours and hours that you spend sitting on the couch every day, eating chips and bonbons, watching The View and making TikTok videos hating on men and crying about how hard you have it, well, darling, that's now going to be on your time, not ours. So we're not going to be paying you for it. So yeah, I say let's do it. Let's make this happen, and now. Oh, and guess what? Now that she's nothing more than an employee, we can also tax deduct her wages, something we can't do now. So that's yet another win.
Oh, God, that's a gem. That's a gem. Why men stop pursuing women? All right. Why men stopped pursuing women? Oh, gee, I wonder why. People that go to church look down on others and are usually flag-waving or right-wing evangelicals that lie when they speak. Yeah, they lie through their teeth. That's what I meant by sanctimonious and self-righteous. They're also pusillanimous pipsqueaks. You're damn right, man. You've never been more correct, Ed Krasenstein. We're covering a lot of important topics here, you know, on this show. So what do you think? Marjorie Taylor Greene is starting to look better? Or do you think she's seeing the Holy Spirit since she sounds more progressive than in the past? Okay, let's see. Let's see, Bonnie Maroney. Bonnie Maroney.
What does it mean when a woman doesn't really engage with you and you're really pursuing her, but then when she does engage and is like flirty and confident with you, you lose interest or don't engage with her?
What does it mean? All right, you aren't going to like it, but here goes. It means that we've realized the only reason you're interested now is because no one better, at least in your mind, is around. It means that we know we're just one of any number of guys on your roster. It means that we know you wanted Chad or Tyrone, but finally figured out he didn't want you. It means that your sudden interest isn't flattering, it's suspicious. It means that we figured out you don't actually like us, you just hate being ignored or alone. It means that we've stopped auditioning for a role that you never intended to cast, at least not with us. It means that we know we're not and never will be Mr. Right, just Mr. Right now. It means that we know our worth and aren't going to be option number 4 or 14. It means that we figured out you aren't serious about a relationship, but simply playing games because you think it's fun to take advantage of guys. It means that we know you're not here because you value us, but because your other options have dried up. It means that we've realized that the only thing worse than not having you is having you. It means that we know the difference between being wanted and being convenient. It means that we've outgrown women who treat us as their backup plan. It means that we have too much self-respect to put up with your BS anymore. And finally, it means that we're not desperate, we're disgusted by you. Now, I know all you ladies are going to scream, "That's not me. I don't do things like that." Yeah, sure you don't. Sorry, darlings, but while you might be fooling yourselves with that line, you sure as hell aren't fooling us. Believe whatever you need to in order to cope. But just know, you aren't the one who got away. You're the one we've left behind.
That's, I call that monkey branching on the cock carousel. She's never yours. It is only your turn. Monkey branching on the cock carousel. Well, she's pissed, man. You know Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks? She's on fire. She's really, really pissed off at the Trump administration. And I don't blame her. I really don't blame her. Okay. I'm going to play, after this one, I'm going to play one of Ed Krasenstein's posts from Twitter X. After this one now. Bonnie Maroney, quack, quack. She does the mashed potato, quack, quack. Through the alligator.
It's our money! It's our money! If Israel wants to carry out war crimes, they shouldn't do it with our money. You can't, on one hand, demand that American taxpayers who are desperate for a better life here in America, they need to hand over billions of dollars to the Israeli government and the IDF, and we need to shut the F up about any of our critique. AIPAC is evil. AIPAC is evil. Evil. My fellow Americans, are you okay with that? Are you okay with a lobbying group representing the best interests of a foreign government telling you you need to bust your ass every day, work a job that you likely hate, and have a portion of your earnings taken from you by our federal government and funneled to the Israeli government so they can commit atrocities in the Gaza Strip? Are you okay with that? Because I'm not okay with that. And nothing gets under my skin more, okay, than hearing these pieces of crap. They feel entitled to our money. Entitled. Entitled. That gets under my skin more than you guys understand, okay?
You don't want to piss her off. She got a lot of fire. She should really run for United States Congresswoman in representing she's in California, representing the state of California. She should really run. Okay, post from Ed Krasenstein. Here comes Ed Krasenstein's post. Brother from another mother like no other. Brother from another mother like no other. I'm going to show Ed Krasenstein's post. Thank you in advance for showing your audience my X page. Well, this is one of your posts that I took a liking to. You're from I think I could be wrong. You're located on the Gulf Coast of South Florida, right? You near like Naples or Marco Island, around that area, or perhaps Fort Myers. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're like down there somewhere. I've been to all those places. I'm sorry, but I'm very sensitive to humidity. I don't like it. But what I remembered is after sundown on the Gulf Coast, they have something called sand fleas, and man, they bite. They bite. They definitely are pesky. Okay, here we go. Senator Merkley. Mr. Ray Krasenstein. Merkley.
A request by UAE to produce AI chips that would go to UAE. The National Security Advisor of UAE is also the CEO of MGX. So after that request for those chips occurred, MGX then said, we will buy 2 billion with a B, of the president's coins. And then the president went to the Middle East and said, we will get you those AI chips. Does this sequence of events in which a foreign government asked for a big favor, and we had previously banned these chips to UAE because of the national security concerns. Then they buy $2 billion of the president's coins, and then the president goes to the Middle East and says, we will provide those chips. Does that sequence of events concern you about foreign influence on the United States of America?
The foreign influence on America that I would be concerned about if I were you was the Mexican national that resided in Oregon, who we just arrested, who had 384 pounds of methamphetamine. The foreign individual who I would be concerned about if I were a senator from Oregon is the Honduran drug trafficker who was residing in Portland for distributing fentanyl. The foreign national I would be concerned about if I was a Portland senator, an Oregon senator, is a Mexican national leader of a drug trafficking ring. Another one, fentanyl, firearms, fatal overdoses, all in your state.
You have made your point.
57,700 fentanyl pills and stolen firearms in Oregon. That's what we should work together on, not gotcha questions during a budget hearing.
Let me recognize Senator Merkley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The Attorney General certainly has made the point that she's very concerned about issues that I'm concerned about as well regarding the security of this country. But let the record note that in terms of foreign influence and the sale of foreign influence through the president's coins, she absolutely refuses to respond and instead turns to a whole list of different topics. I think it's important for the leader of the Justice Department of the United States to be very concerned about foreign influence, and I encourage you to take on that topic and not consider it an offense that those of us who are concerned here, Democrats and Republicans, want Americans to make American decisions, not foreign influence being bought through crypto coins.
Senator Murkowski.
Chairman.
Yeah, she's screaming. She's she's trying to dominate the room with her loud mouth. But you notice all of Donald Trump's women, they're all, moderately doable. You notice that. Anyway, that's from Ed Krasenstein's Twitter X channel. Okay, this is a Spanish actor gives a speech on Trump. He's supposedly a very popular Latin American actor. I don't know of him, but I like the speech he gave. Boney Maroney. All right, hold on. Let me address something before I play this. Hold on. I just want to catch up. I was recently on a vacation with my family. Yes, I am in Florida. Okay. All right. Jordy's Den. Hey, Jordy, the king of techno music from Scotland. My good friend from Scotland, Jordy K. Hey, what are you making me out to be a Russian or something? You changing my name? All of these right-wing Bible thumpers can do is shout and change the narrative. Yeah, look at over there. Don't pay attention to that man behind the curtain. Remember the Wizard of Oz? Yes, they distract. That's what they do. They distract, just like sending ICE and the Marines to Los Angeles was a distraction from Jeffrey Epstein files. Remember how quickly that changed? Remember how quickly the media stopped talking about Diddy, the baby oil expert, right? They covered it and they left. Well, you can't reason with them. How can you reason with and negotiate with and even compromise with people that will not do that? That's not part of their agenda. That's why that's what Democrats have to learn. The neoliberals have to learn this, but they haven't learned it yet. They still want to be friends with everyone and sing Kumbaya. It's not going to happen. I'll be here, Jordy. I'll be here. Don't worry. All right. So we got to go here.
Today, many people are feeling persecuted. Far too many people live in fear. Fear of taking their kids to school or going to places where they earn an honest living. These people, they're your neighbors, your friends, immigrants. This is very unfair, and let me tell you why. The multiple times that this country has had to rebuild itself, immigrants were always there to pick up the slack. Earlier this year, when LA burned, immigrant workers risked their lives to stop the flames. They are the ones who build this country. They feed it. They nurture and teach its children. They care for the elderly. They work in construction, hospitality. They run kitchens. They're technicians, merchants, athletes, drivers, farmers, they pay a lot of taxes, a lot of them, with their jobs. Papers or no papers. Today, many people are feeling persecuted. Far too many people live in fear. Fear of taking their kids to school or going to places where they earn an honest living. These people, they're your neighbors, your friends, immigrants. This is very unfair, and let me tell you why. The multiple times that this country has had to rebuild itself, immigrants were always there to pick.
This is about them now. This is not a joke. This is real. It's about the Galactic Federation. Oh boy. Don't panic, Americans. Don't panic, Americans. Don't panic when you hear this one. How can anybody with a sound mind vote for a man who mocks a disabled journalist? Remember that? Donald Trump do. I mean, what person running for president of the United States behaves that way? Or tells people at one of his rallies, if anybody protests at this rally, or heckles this at this rally, I want you to grab them and beat the hell out of them. What person that wants to be president behaves that way? I mean, people should have known right from the start. The problem is the people, not just the people that vote for the felon, the corrupt felon, who has a family history of not being nice. They're not nice people, this family, going back, But what kind of people decide not to vote? 90 million Americans decided not to vote this past November. And this is why Kamala Harris lost the election. And this is why the Republicans won the House and the Senate, because 90 million Americans didn't vote. If they did vote, Republicans just don't get elected. That's the truth. Okay, hold on. Reverend, what do you think about Sharpton? Yeah, racial opportunist. But he's mellowed out. Well, because he's old, but he's mellowed out. He's likable now. When he was young, he only showed up to make a spectacle out of a supposed racial situation. Even if the black person was to blame for something, he would make a racial spectacle out of it and play the race card. When he was young, now he mellowed out. He has his own show, right? Talk show or some kind. I've never seen it. I've only seen him interview certain people. He did a good job with Jesse Ventura. Oh, I can't stand her. Oh, you know what? I put her right up there with Joel Osteen and Mark Zuckerberg as some of the people I really despise. Oprah is a billionaire, yet she's begging people to donate to her charities, She's another one of those celebrity scum that can't be trusted. She's evil. You know, I heard Oprah Winfrey doesn't like to tip. She's not known for her gratuities or propina, as they say in Spanish. She's a cheap fuck. She's a cheap bastard. She doesn't like to tip. And you know what? I'm glad you brought up her charities. Every time I go shopping, the supermarket chain that I'm shopping at is always asking if I would like to donate a certain amount of money to the children's fund. Well, why don't they donate? They can afford it, right? Big supermarket chain. What down in Florida, you got Publix, right? That's the primary supermarket chain, right? Publix. Do you notice that when you're checking out, you know, when you're using your, let's say, your debit card or whatever? Does that question come up about you donating? Why don't the hell Publix donates? Why do you have to bother people, customers that are paying through the nose, paying a rip-off price gouging rates for groceries? Why are you bothering them to donate to the children's fund? Oy, you're bringing up some good topics. Yeah, she's a yo-yo dieter, but she put down the late great Robert C. Atkins, who popularized the ketogenic diet, who got it from Dr. Carlton Fredericks, who I used to listen to as a kid. And let me tell you, she totally bashed him when he was on her show and said that she has the best dietitian and the best trainer, and she wants to continue eating her carbs and eating whatever she wants. Well, there's the result. She's a forever fat hippopotamus. Oprah lost a ton of weight and then lied that she's taking medicine for diabetes to lose the weight. Why lie? What a fucking piece of shit. She is a piece of shit. And I had an argument with Dr. Gary Null. Dr. Gary Null, popular radio holistic health personality. Oprah made a statement showing what a hypocrite she is about a specific subject. I think it was the use of medicinal marijuana. And I called her a corporate whore. And Gary Null got mad at me. He says, James, you know, you could talk better than that. That's not raising the bar. He said, that's not raising the bar. Well, it's the truth. She's a corporate whore. So maybe Gary Null was being politically correct. He didn't want me to speak that way about her because of her race. How about every time you buy something, the person behind the counter asks for a tip? A tip? Let me tell you something, brother, from another mother, like no other. It's not my fault that they're being paid chump change. They're not being paid a living wage with good benefits. Is it my fault that they're paid so cheaply? Fuck them. And all that tipping nonsense just for them doing their fucking jobs. How do we know that the tips going into the tip vessel, which sometimes it's acrylic, you can see through it. How do we know those tips are not being pooled and collected manager and going somewhere else? I don't know what those donations for the Children's Fund are, where they're going. I have no evidence that they're going towards a charity and not going in the pockets into the bank account of the supermarket chain. How do I know that? Do you have proof? Do I have proof? No. I don't like her. And she's got a gorilla face, I'm sorry to say. I don't like her. I never liked her. Oh, all those gifts when she did the show from Chicago. All the gifts that she used to give away at the end of the show. She acted like she's giving these gifts to the people in her audience out of the kindness of her heart, out of her generosity. The sponsors are paying for those gifts, not Oprah Winfrey. The sponsors are paying for those gifts. Oh, the Shriners Hospital. I get a bad vibe from that. I really do. Now, the only charity that I respect, because most of the big charities have these CEOs making a fortune, and honestly, a charity, a fundraiser should be made up of volunteer workers, and you don't need a CEO making a fortune to run a charity fundraiser. You don't need that. But the only one that I do respect, that I would ever think of giving money to, is St. Jude's Children's Hospital. That was started by Danny Thomas, the late Danny Thomas. And I don't know if Marlo Thomas is still running the organization, but I think they're located in Tennessee. I always respected them, but all the others, March of Dimes, the American Red Cross, the Salvation Army, the United Way, scams, and they allow the scams. This is what capitalism has become in America. Oh, by the way, Ed Krassen's thing, we got a lot of viewers since you and I have been tag teaming rather. The CEO of Goodwill, oh yeah. They take your donated crap and my donated crap and they sell it to the poor. Yeah. The CEO of Goodwill makes millions of dollars a year. Millions of dollars. Bless their hearts. God bless them. St. Jude is a reputable company. The patients pay nothing, which is a great cause. Millions of dollars a year. Goodwill. Why do you need a CEO to run a charity? Please, somebody tell me why. There is no justifiable reason for it. I'm telling you, really, I think I need another craft beer.
Aliens exist and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. NBC News chief global correspondent Bill Neely explains this one.
Hi, Alison. Well, this is quite a story, and it comes from the man who headed Israel's space security program for nearly 30 years. Chaim Eshed is making the extraordinary claim that the United States and Israel have been in contact with a group of aliens for years. Not immigrants, but extraterrestrials. He has called them the Galactic Federation of Aliens, and he says President Trump is aware of the existence of these aliens and had been on the verge of revealing their secrets, he claims, but was asked not to do so by the Federation in order to prevent what he calls mass hysteria. Well, the retired general says the US and Israel have kept it from the public because, quotes, humanity isn't ready and the aliens don't want to reveal themselves until humanity can evolve, he says, and understand what space really is. Well, the good news is that he claims an agreement has been reached between the US government and the aliens, a contract to do experiments here There's also, he says, a secret underground base on Mars where there are American and alien representatives.
Wow. I believe it. I believe extraterrestrials have been visiting Earth for possibly tens of thousands of years, if not more. We got some red pill talk, got 2 red pills and 1 Jimmy Kimmel to top it off.
Divorced for 2.5 years, and I'm ready to start dating. And I'm just wondering, where are all the men at? Because the dating apps, well, they're terrible. Either the men don't know how to take good pictures of themselves, or they're just not on there, or they don't say anything. I don't really understand it. They're not at the grocery store. Like, are you guys getting your groceries delivered? Where are all the men at? I don't golf, so that's out.
When are they going to get it? When are they going to get that men are off enjoying life, enjoying their peace, and just want to be left the hell alone? When are they going to get that men have figured out that they're far, far happier, their lives are far better without women than with them? When are they going to get that men are no longer interested in dealing with their drama, delusions, and narcissism? Not to mention their never-ending ridiculous expectations and demands, especially from women who've already proven that their word, their promises, their commitments are nothing more than hollow lies. Sorry, ladies, but y'all made your beds. Now you're going to get to spend the rest of your life living in them alone.
James, you look so sad. What's going on? Why do you look so sad?
I'm not sad. I had a mouthful of beer. I had a mouthful of the craft beer. The last, the end. I'm not sad. I'm
I
tired.
thought
I didn't get my I didn't
you
get
looked
my
as if
sleep.
you looked as if you were kind of like a sad puppy. I thought you were sad. I thought you were like feeling down in the blues.
All right, hold on. There we go. All these divorced women are fat, pudgy, money grubbing whores. You're damn
Oh,
right.
hold on. I can hear an echo. What's going on here?
No, it says here. Now, tell me something, Ed.
There we go. There we
Ed,
go. Okay.
you notice for some strange reason
There we go.
that once a woman, like if a woman is dating a man and she might be younger, she might be real pretty, she got a nice body, she takes care of herself, and everything is like peachy keen, hunky dory, and then they get down the road, they get married, and all of a sudden she porks up. She starts getting fat. She don't take care of herself anymore.
No, she would still be the woman for me. I'll tell you something. I'm in love with a barmaid. I am in love with one of the bar ladies that
One of
works
the
in the bar.
barmaids.
Mm-hmm.
One of
I
the
am.
bar. Or does she have big breasts? Is she full figured?
No, she's not got big breasts. She's
The audio.
25. She's 25. Her name is Carrie. She's awesome. She's into the same music as I am. She's awesome.
Wow.
But
he's
Yeah.
into music. I would say he's progressive. He's a very compassionate. He asked if you were a progressive thinker. I said, yeah,
Yo,
Jordy's
what's up, Ed? How you doing, buddy? All the divorced women are fat, pudgy, money grabbing whores.
Ed,
Yeah, they are.
Ed has a huge following on Twitter X. He's very well established on Twitter, and Jordy is from Scotland, and he makes techno music, and I would say he's progressive because he's very compassionate, and he cares about people, and he's a kind-hearted guy. He's not mean. He's not mean-spirited. So I would say he's progressive. He's not really into politics, though.
I've met so many people up on here that are just mean assholes, and I just can't be arsed with it. You're a kind guy, James. You're a kind soul. You got wings on your back.
I
There's
got
some
wings.
people up on. There's some. Yeah, I mean, in a bro way, not a fucking gay way or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Let me just answer this question. Let me tell you, he's got a big Facebook page. You talking about the man that the male rights activist red pill guy? That's let's see. I'll tell you exactly.
I wasn't talking about up on here. Everybody up on here has been killed. Everybody up on here has been killed. I mean, up on my dad.
We're not talking about that. He's asking me a question about.
Oh, okay.
It's called. Let me tell him. It's called "Men Need to Be Heard." Just go on Facebook and look up "Men Need to Be Heard," and you'll see all his videos. You'll see his face, and yeah. No, I was just trying to. I'm trying to tell Ed.
My apologies. Pardon me.
Men need to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we do.
Jordy's actually a very kind-hearted guy. He's definitely not a Republican.
I'm sorry, I've got ADHD, and I don't mean to interrupt, and I'm a little bit fucking hyper. My apologies, James. If I'm
Yeah.
ever being too hyper, just say, Jordy, wind your neck in. There. No, that.
There's
Oh no, you gotta tell it. I'm sorry.
oh, what I was just gonna, I was just gonna answer, Mr. Egress. Men want peace of mind. They want their health. They want peace of mind. They, instead of living with somebody
Fucking
who
hell.
drags them down all the time and puts them down and demands. Men just decided we're mentally exhausted. We've had enough. We just want to go our own way, and we want peace. And I agree. I
Okay.
agree with what the guy was saying.
That is cool.
I mean, look. You piss your money away on a female
Oh yeah, I've done that.
who doesn't appreciate you, and just think of all the fun things you could do with your money instead of spend it on her.
Oh, do you know what? One of my females, ex-female, has recently got back in contact. She had a baby, and she doesn't see the baby anymore. Now she wants to come in contact back with me.
Really? Because you know what they do? They do what Ed said and what that other guy said. They monkey branch on the cock carousel.
Cock carousel?
Yeah, the reason why a girl from your past comes back to you looking for you is because the other dudes are not the other dudes that they want the most are not available for them.
Okay.
So they're riding the cock carousel. So it's like they can't get the perfect 10 that they're eyeballing, and he doesn't want her. So then they say, gee, let me look at my little black book. Oh, my ex, I still got my ex's number. Let me give him a call.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they want.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
They want either that or money.
Instead of having no sucker spending his money on her and no banger sausage, they go with the banger sausage.
Women go after me because I apparently look cute and stuff.
Well, yeah, you listen. You're a music. You're a techno aficionado. You're a cool guy. You got the sunglasses on. You got the dark man cave. You got You got the marijuana going. You got the
I was smoking.
You're making techno music left and right. So you're a cool dude.
Wait, I've not heard the stuff. I've not heard that thing you sent me yet.
You know what you should get someday? You should get one of those shiny, lightweight black leather sports jacket.
Ooh, okay.
Black leather.
Sports jacket.
Not a motorcycle jacket, but a nice a sports jacket that when you wear, you go out, you look classy, you look like a cool dude, and then you'll be the authentic Jordy K, the king of techno, and you look like him. Tell your guests just to nail her and move on. These girls will drag you down with their hormonal changes and feminist beliefs.
Okay.
They will drag them down. And you know what they do? After you're with them for a while, they start complaining. You don't spend the quality time with me. When's the last time you got me flowers? When's the last time you
blah blah blah?
When's the last time
blah.
why took me out to dinner? They go on and on and on. At the beginning, oh, you're honey, sweetie, darling. At the beginning, oh, you're the greatest. You know, but it's like after a while, oh, honey,
ouch,
where's my beer?
That's fucking loud.
Or bellhop, get my suitcases, please.
Breakfast is ready. Breakfast is ready. I'll have my eggs fried and bacon. Lots and lots of bacon.
I love bacon. I always wonder, what is egg Benedict? You ever hear eggs Benedict?
Yeah, I have heard of that before. I don't know what it is. What is an eggs Benedict?
I don't know. There's a food in England called spotted dick. That doesn't sound too good to me.
That's cake, I think.
That's
And
cake.
I don't like that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Spotted dick.
I think so.
I've had trifle pudding. I think that's English.
I've never had. I think about that. I don't know.
Women. You know what? You know Ed Krasenstein. You ever notice that the cute, chubby girls, I mean the ones with a cute or pretty face and big tits, the chubby girls give the best. they give the best blowjobs. You ever notice that?
No! Don't even get me started because one of my exes, Zoe, gave the bestest. No, I can't say this on live. She gave the best blowjob and ever. No, sorry, Zoe. If you're watching this, it's a compliment, darling.
Yes, it's
But
a compliment.
she gave the best. She wasn't a big girl. She was fit.
Well, if she wants to explain the,
But the way she did it, her
yeah, but
her
if
lips.
as long as she doesn't use her teeth, as long as she doesn't dig her teeth into you.
No.
Now, if she wants to come on and give a female point of view on the fellatio, fellatio.
No, I can't. Listen, I shouldn't be saying this about her.
Now, what about the two guys, Ben Dover and Phil McCracken? Phil McCracken. Ben Dover and Phil. But press secretary. Let me tell you about that Caroline Levitt and the dog killer, Noam. Donald Trump's the former governor of Montana who killed her own dog because he won't she couldn't train the dog. He was stubborn.
Why the fuck did she do that? Who the fuck would kill their own dog? What the fuck is wrong with her?
Yeah,
why would you do that?
She's a Republican.
Explain it to me, Lucy.
She says that her dog was not trainable, so she had it put to death. You believe that? They both look like they're both built for porn.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
I can't believe someone would be that evil. I would never put a doggo down unless that doggo is like suffering or something.
No, you know what that is? That is a sociopath. In my opinion,
she should have the option to do that.
Why can't
that is a sociopath?
Why can't she just bring it to a shelter, a no-kill shelter, and say, "Look, find it a good home.
Give the dog another home. Instead of putting the damn thing down.
Don't kill it. Don't put it down for no justifiable reason.
Don't put the damn thing down.
Now
find it another home.
Now the other Republican Congresswoman, Luna, from Florida.
Luna?
I think she's from, I don't know, Pensacola or somewhere in the Panhandle. She's another one.
All right.
A very pretty.
Is Luna the dog's name or the owner's name?
No. This is a congresswoman.
Okay.
It's a right-wing young congresswoman from Florida. I sent the link to Ronnie. But
Oh,
Ronnie,
Ronnie? Yeah, he's cool. Ronnie's alright.
oh, he's cool. If he doesn't come around, I'll just send it to.
Cheers, man.
Who should I send
I'm
it
not
to?
gonna stay. I'm not gonna stick around for too long. I just want to come up and say, yo, I'm in a music mood. I've been listening to the tunes all night, but I'm gonna stay for a little hour or something to have a wee beer with you because James, you're awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna play. This is a funny guy. You ever watch Jimmy? Do you get Jimmy Kimmel, the Tonight Show?
I like him. I like him. I like him. I like Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, play him. Go for it.
I got a Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, honestly, James, go for it. Go for it. I'll watch it.
Oh, what happened? What did I do?
It's getting hot in here, by the way. It's getting fucking hot in here, and I can't.
Oh, you got like oh shit! What did I do?
1 second, 1 minute is raining, the next minute is sunny, the next minute is cold, the next minute is fucking warm. It feels like 20 degrees or something. Yeah, James, go for it. Put
what the hell happened to
Jimmy Kimmel?
I'm gonna have to see if I can retrieve it now. I gotta go back to where I was.
Was it a celebrity that's joining up? Was it
No, he was talking. He was doing some comedy about Donald Trump and Caroline Levitt. He was doing some good comedy.
James, you don't like Donald Trump, don't you not? You don't like Donald Trump. Yeah?
What about Trump?
Donald Trump is a prick, isn't he?
Well, look at Oprah Winfrey. She's skinny.
Is Donald Trump a prick?
She looks different. Ed Krasenstein? No, this is really funny. I watched most of it. Now look at this, Ed Krasenstein. Oh, oops.
Is that Oprah? Oh, that's Holly Willoughby. Oh wait, no, it's not.
No, that's it's a Jimmy Kimmel, but it's
I commit to telling the truth from this podium every single day. I commit to speaking on behalf of the President of the United States. That is my job. And I will say it's very easy to speak truth from this podium when you have a president who is implementing policies that are wildly popular with the American people, and that's exactly what this administration is doing.
Well, what is he focused on? I'll tell you what he's focused on.
It is.
You wash your hands, and in my case, I like to take a nice shower to take care of my beautiful hair. I have to stand under the shower for 15 minutes till it gets wet. It comes out drip, drip, drip. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it comes out drip, drip, drip. I believe that's how Stormy described it, too, right?
Trump's press secretary promised to speak the truth every single day. Jimmy Kimmel answered by airing the clip, then tearing it apart. On live TV, in front of millions, a late-night joke became a national headline. What happens when loyalty meets comedy? And why did this moment trigger one of the most brutal takedowns of Trump's presidency so far? Everything you're about to see is real, broadcast publicly, recorded truthfully, no voices altered, no facts invented.
And it's about time we have a president in the Oval Office who is putting the world on notice and is putting the American people first, and again, is using the leverage.
Now look at this phony wearing a cross. She's a lying bitch.
What's her name?
She's a press secretary for Donald Trump. Caroline Levitt.
Of the United States to negotiate good trade deals.
Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt. She's 27 years old. She's the youngest press secretary ever. She's married to a much older real estate magnate, which, in that case, you're hired.
Oh, she's a gold digger. She's 27 and she's married. She's married to a rich old geezer.
She's in it for the
Levitt
money.
is now the ringleader at the White House, where she promised a new and more circus-like atmosphere going forward.
Caroline Leavitt says it's about time we have a president who puts the world on notice. Jimmy Kimmel says it's about time someone explained what circus she's actually running. At just 27, she didn't just step behind the podium, she marched in like the lead act. And somehow, defending the impossible became her headline routine. And if this is what putting America first looks like, we're gonna need popcorn. Subscribe to keep watching the circus unfold.
There is now a member of the European Parliament from France
who does not think the U.S. represents the values of the Statue of Liberty anymore. They want the Statue of Liberty back. So is President Trump going to send the Statue of Liberty back to France?
Absolutely not. And my advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German right now. So they should be very grateful to our great country.
Caroline was asked whether Trump would return the Statue of Liberty. She said no, and then added that the French should be grateful they're not speaking German. Jimmy didn't even need a punchline. It was the kind of statement that makes even your 8th grade history teacher wince and leaves the rest of us wondering what grade Caroline skipped to land this job. The real show was just getting started, because Jimmy hadn't even touched Trump's 2-week promises or the moment Macho Man became Taco Man. So if you think you've seen it all, just wait. The most funny, painfully accurate takedown is coming up next.
I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks."
2 weeks. It's always 2 weeks. Always 2 weeks. For a guy whose catchphrase was "you're fired," no one has ever given more 2 weeks notice.
Another 2 weeks. That's Trump's favorite timeline, forever pending, never delivered. As Jimmy put it, for a guy whose catchphrase was "you're fired," he sure gives out a lot of 2-week notices. At this point, even his broken promises are on a schedule.
At some point in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I'm going to be setting the deal.
We're going to call it the gold card.
fucking
We're going to start
wanker,
selling
Trump.
hopefully in about 2 weeks.
For $5 million, this could be yours. It'll be out in about less than 2 weeks.
You think 2 weeks about President Putin? What is 2 weeks? Give it. What is the actual date? What is the timeline?
2 weeks or less.
Did you in any way misread Vladimir Putin?
I'll tell you about that in a month from now or 2 weeks from now.
Eating too much salt causes hypertension, right? Nope. What about too much bacon and red meat? Nope. It's actually calcium buildup that turns arteries to stone. Do this to clear calcified arteries fast. Most folks are totally wrong about what's really causing hypertension, right? And look, hey, it's not their fault, because a discovery made by an award-winning lipidologist shocked even the most experienced cardiologist.
I could answer that. You can ask that question in 2 weeks.
I'll be making a big decision on the Paris Accord over the next 2 weeks.
NAFTA, and we'll be reporting back sometime over the next 2 weeks. We're signing a health care plan within 2 weeks.
That was July 19, 2020. We're still waiting for him to sign that healthcare plan.
2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. It's not a timeline, it's a lifestyle. Jimmy lined them up and Trump delivered like clockwork. Healthcare, still pending. Gold cards, still imaginary. At this rate, the only thing arriving in 2
James,
weeks
I'm gonna go.
is
I'm gonna
another
skate.
2-week promise.
Yeah.
James, I'm going to skate.
It's another 2 weeks. Yeah, everything's 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yo, James, I'm going to skate. Adios, brother. Thank you for having me tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I'm done. I'm done showing the video.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay. Well, adios, brother. Thank you for
all
having
right.
me tonight.
Okay, I know it's very late in Scotland right now, and
I got chicken tikka, chicken breast, and chicken tikka fucking on skewers with peppers and stuff on the grill.
All right.
Is it ready then? Hold on a minute. Okay. I love you, James.
Same here.
All right.
Good luck. We'll talk about techno music, and I'll keep in touch.
Adios, bud.
Bye bye. Have a good night's sleep. Okay, that was Jordy from Scotland. So, who's that? Mr. Timer. Timer 323 from Twitch. Impeach Trump. Yeah, what are they waiting for? Actually, the Republicans controlling the House and the Senate should be impeached, removed from office also, because they're accomplices to Trump breaking the constitutional law, breaking the Constitution, and on top of all the felonies. But the most important thing is the Constitution in this case. Because I think he got away with the felonies because he's a sitting president. But as far as the Constitution goes, the Republicans, they remain quiet. So they're accomplices, you know, and they should be removed also. Well, Mr. Concerned Citizen says, what did you think of my posts on X this week? I don't know, because I don't read them because you're right wing. Mr. Ed Krasenstein here is a very established right-wing Republican person on Twitter X. He is the right-wing counterpart to you. Ed Krasenstein is a very well-established left-wing progressive on Twitter X. So the both of you are complete opposite and very well established. I've been there since 2012, but I am also very left-wing. Anyway, no, you ask me that every week. I haven't seen anything you posted because it's all pro-Trump and pro-Republican. So I haven't seen it. Anyway, let's see if I got any. No, I don't know what happened to the other guys. Let me. What time is it? If I brought this other guy on, I don't even know if he's around. Let me see. He might be live on TikTok right now. If he's alive on TikTok, there's no sense in me. Wait a minute. I just want to make sure it's really her. No, how could it be? How could it be a celebrity if she only has 249 followers? No, she's not live. It's hogwash. Something. Oh, there's a big. What's going on here? Seems like there's a big rally in Times Square, New York. What's going on here? Ed Krasenstein, if you're there, something's going on in New York here. Hold on. There's a lot of people in Times Square, Midtown Manhattan.
moment in this country.
I don't know. There's a lot of people there. Peace, love, and happiness. Chicken tikka. Oh, you got chicken tikka? That's good. You ever have chicken tikka? Is actually good. I like chicken tikka with peppers and roasted garlic, peppers, with chorizo. So you got chorizo and chicken tikka. Paneer. Oh, paneer is like an Indian cheese, I believe. It's spelled Paneer. Paneer. I'm stoned. Well, you could be stoned on my show. I don't care. Peace and love. Peace, love, and adios. All right. Same to you, Jordy. All right, gentlemen, everybody, collectively, Jordy, 323. Who's that other guy? Fuck is that other guy? Where'd he go? Anyway, Ed Krasenstein, I want to thank you profusely for being my my texting commentary co-host for this week. You did an outstanding job. We covered a lot of topics. Anyway, until next time. I think tomorrow I'm scheduled to do the monthly mysticism show at 3 p.m. Eastern Time called the 5 Forms of Divination. Let me see if I'm scheduled to do the 5 Forms of Divination. Yeah. I am. If today's the today is Saturday the 28th, and tomorrow is Sunday the 29th of June, and the 1st of July is Tuesday. Then yes, tomorrow I am supposed to be doing the live stream called the 5 Forms of Divination at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on right here on YouTube and Twitch. And the 5 forms of divination are, this is for the United States of America, for the whole country. First, I start off with the tarot card reading, then followed by astrological forecasts for the country, astrology, then followed by numerology. Then I do I Ching, and then the 5th one is Chinese astrology. So the 5 forms of divination for the month of July 2025 will be tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. All right. So join me then. Well, join me and my open AI consultant, the one and only, the mystifying Oracle, who will be doing the 5 forms of divination. And that's that. Okay, folks, we'll see you next time. Actually, I might not be around Saturday. No. The show July 4th is Friday. I'll be away. I won't be around. So the next Progressive Discussions Open Topic Talk will have to be the following Saturday. Yeah, not this coming, not next Saturday, the following Saturday, because I will be away. All right, that explains it. All right, folks, I'll see you in 2 weeks. But, of course, if you're around, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon for the 5 forms of divination. Have a good night.